This conference will now be recorded.
Let's start today's session. So in the last session, we were discuss about cache mechanism, and in this cache mechanism, there are three types of cache. One is per site cache, and next one per view cache, and third one template fragment cache. Three types of cache mechanisms are there. Per site cache, next per view cache, next template fragment cache. Yes. Per site cache, per view cache, template fragment cache. These three types of cache mechanisms are available. Any one you can follow, but cache data will be stored uh, in database table as well as file system as well as local memory. So anyways you can store like three options to store cache details. Already we were discussed in the last session how to work with per site cache using database caching, file system caching, local memory caching. But to work with per site cache, we need to do settings. So two middlewares are need to be added. So in the common middleware, before one middleware we have to add like update cache middleware, fetch from cache middleware we have to add. After that, where we have to store cache data means you can decide that in this caches folder. So caches default backend local memory cache. And if you want to store the database cache, backend start okay, backend start db dot database cache. What's your database table means? Now you can see database table name is cache app hyphen underscore cache. Your application name is what? Cache app underscore cache. This is the default table name which will create. Look at this. This is the table is created already. It stored cache data here already. So this is database caching. This is the location of the cache table. This table already we created in the last session. And in today's session, what we will do per view cache, I'm going to explain, and also template fragment cache also I'm going to explain. But these two cache mechanisms purpose, I'm storing the data cache memory into cache table only, database caching only. I'll show you. But one thing is very important. If you want to work with per view cache, then already what we have added middlewares for working with per site cache that you have to remove. So we cannot keep as it is this. This update cache middleware fetch from cache middleware only for what you know per site cache. So let's comment this line, and this line also you can comment it. So if you keep these two middlewares, even though if you are working with per view cache, so you will not get expected result. Okay. For all views also will have the cache mechanism because we already maintain the per site cache by using this middleware. So be careful while working with per view cache. You just try to remove this middlewares. And this is common. What is that? This is even I'm working with per view cache, but still my cache details I'm storing into database caching only, table only. That's enough. Now per view cache, how it will work. Now you can see per view cache means multiple views we have to maintain. Suppose right now we are in cache app. In this cache app, views are there. So what is a view is there? V1. V1 through we are sending request to mycache.html. Let me create one more view. V2 through I'm sending request and I'm preparing one more page for V2 request. What is the page name in the sense? My cache1.html, like this. So def v1 my cache.html, def v2 my cache1.html. Okay, both are there. Already my cache.html page is there. This is having like some content like hello Hyderabad, Durga Soft, welcome to Hyderabad. And let's prepare my cache1.html also. This template I'm preparing. Prepare template. Let's go to templates folder, new my cache1.html. And here I'm preparing some content like this. H1 like this. Okay, clear. Just observe. Two pages are there, my cache1 and my cache page. These two pages are rendering through v1 request and v2 request. But we need to set the URL for v2 also. Now I'm giving the name here, multiple URLs name I'm working. Path v1, path I'm taking v2 slash, here also views dot v2 and comma. And next, two views are there. But look at this, if we are sending requests from v1 as well as v2, both request through, we are displaying them templates like my cache and my cache1, but there is no cache mechanism will maintain. Okay, look at this. I'm going to start execution, and will it maintain any cache mechanism or not for this request? You can see this. First, let's go to terminal and activate this virtual environment. My env slash script slash activate. Now let's run this. Let's hit this request. I'm trying to hit this request like v1 slash v1. So v1 through we are getting what page? Okay, mycache.html. If we go for directly into mycache.html, if we do any changes in this page, the changes immediately affect or not, you can observe here. Yes, I'm deleting this and the changes immediately will affect. Yes. Why? Because it is not maintaining the cache. Again, you can go back and rewrite this. Again, this immediately will affect. Means it's coming from server. It's not coming from cache data. Same thing v2 request through when we send v2 also page is coming. Which page is my cache one? In my cache one also, if I try to delete this one, immediate effect will be immediate impact will be there. So that means no view is maintaining the cache. Okay, no view is maintaining the cache. Two views are executing from server directly. That means immediate response is coming. Okay, yeah. So now I would like to provide only particular view cache. That is called per view cache I'm working with. Per view cache. But how Django server can recognize the view which is having cache? Okay, yeah. Let's include per view cache to work with per view cache purpose. Look at this in the view section. The moment when we send request from this view, I want to provide cache. When we send request from this v2, I don't need any cache memory. So how it is required to implement means simple. Django dot okay views dot cache. Django dot views dot, just a moment. Give me 1 second. Django dot views import cache. No. Operators dot cache import cache based decorator. Yes, this is correct. From Django dot, we are into views right now. Views dot decorators I am using. What decorators? Decorators dot cache. Import cache based decorator is there. In Python also we discussed decorators concept. Cache based decorator I'm using right. So using this cache based decorator through decorator always we can apply on functions, and at the rate symbol starts with here cache based decorator I'm using. I'm taking time out here 30 seconds. So 30 seconds time I would like to maintain cache memory when I send request from v1 view. 30 seconds time only I need to maintain cache memory when I send request from v1 view. Got my point? So because of this, Django server can recognize when we send request from this v1 cache memory 30 seconds. Within the 30 seconds, how many times you are sending request through v1, and when we display mycache.html, there is no immediate changes. After 30 seconds only changes. But what about v2? V2 there is no cache. Okay. If you want to provide cache mechanism for v2 request through also, you can give one more decorator at the rate of cache space. Time is different like that. Anything you can do. But I'm working with only per view cache. So only v1 request through when I send mycache.html, then immediately cache mechanism will maintain. Let's see this. Now v2s to whatever we are sending request, that mycache1.html is there, no, that will not maintain any cache. I'll show you. Run the server and observe carefully. When we enter this v1, I'm hitting /v1. Even through we got mycache.html. Mycache.html page, I'm going to remove this something. Even you can see it's not going to affect. Why? Because 30-second time you have for this already request. After 30 seconds only you will get updated result after completion of 30 seconds timeout from the cache. So I have to wait for 30 seconds, then you will get updated result. Now you can see we got updated result. Again, when we go to mycache.html, when we add this code, previously what I deleted, hello Hyderabad, hello Durgasa. Again, will it come updated result? No. It will not come updated result. Look at this. No updated result. After 30 seconds, you will get updated result. So this is only v1 through we are getting cache mechanism. But just observe here, v2 through I'm taking. v2 request. v2 don't have any cache mechanism, no? Yes, v2 through what page we are saying rendering my cache one. In my cache one page, when we remove this, immediate updation will come or not? Yes, because v2 don't have any cache. Whatever v2 changes, immediate effect will be there in this request. This is the concept called what? Per view cache. Only particular view through when we send request. If you need cache memory, you can maintain. And from other view through, if you are sending request, if you don't need cache, then you can ignore the cache mechanism. So this is per view cache clearly. And how I maintain per view cache means in the view section only. Look at this. The Django server can identify particular view is having cache mechanism while executing the view. But we can set per view cache mechanism not only in the views, you can also do this one at the time of URL configuration also. Okay, there are two ways are there. Either you can decide the view is having per view cache means like this here in the view section, or else you can go through this, remove this one. Okay, right now there is no cache mechanism on this view creation, but the same settings we can do at what? URLs. So while implementing URL configuration, we can also decide here also from which view through which URL through you are sending request to the server, that URL through we can maintain the cache. So here I am doing same thing from Django dot, okay, views dot decorators dot cache import cache page decorator. Next, through v1, if you want to maintain the cache, then simply what I can say brackets, okay, cache page 30 seconds, and this also need to be close the brackets. So this is having cache mechanism v1 again. Okay, you can implement per view cache inside the views.py file or while declaring the application level URLs via this URL name. Cache space is there, decorator I'm using 30 seconds views.v1. Now this time v1 view is maintaining the cache, v2 view don't maintain the cache. That's same thing only. Let's try with this. I'm hitting request v1 via v1. Got v1 through what page? My cache. My cache, whatever we are doing changes immediately will not affect because after 30 seconds only will affect. But when we send v2 through request, immediately impact will be there. v2 through what page is rendering? My cache 1. My cache 1, whatever we do changes here, immediately this is affecting or not? Yes. My cache 1 through what we do changes, immediately it will affect. Look at this, immediate effect is there. At v1, it is not immediate effect. After 30 seconds only, the effect will be there. v1, 30 seconds only. So this is what actually for view cache, we can also declare in the URL section instead of view section. Next, template fragment cache is there. Template means what? HTML page. Fragment means what? Division means multiple parts of the HTML document. Cache means you can know the temporary memory. So while rendering template, when we are executing the template through your template, if you want to maintain the cache, some particular part of the template and some other particular part, if you don't want to maintain any cache mechanism, then we can go for template fragment cache. Now this time I'm using template fragment cache. Template fragment cache. How to work with template fragment cache, we'll see. For working with the template fragment cache, I'm creating one more view. So in that view through some template I'll create. From that template I can mention. So this is what df v3 request. df v3 of request. After that return render current request. Now I'm creating what my cache2.html. This is the page. I need to execute this v3. When we execute this v3, my cache2.html page will be rendered. Let's close this unnecessarily URLs, all these pages now. So settings also I'm closing. Now v3 request is there. v3 through we are sending what we are getting what my cache2.html template. But look at this my cache2.html template I'm using. But before that, let me set the URL. Now you can see path v3 views.v3. Fine. So when we execute v3 view, it render mycache2.html. This is called our template. Let's create mycache2.html template. Mycache2.html. In this mycache2.html template. So I'm talking about what cache? Template fragment cache. This is our template, that is mycache2.html. Fragment means division. So in your template, we can able to provide some divisions, like any divisions, like multiple parts. From which part request do you want to maintain the cache? You can decide that. Suppose I'm deciding like I have two divisions. First, let me write something like this. One, normally I'm taking any text like, okay, yeah. Next again, total content, okay. All H1. But here, some portion only I want to maintain the cache, and some other portion of the request I don't maintain any cache. So how we can do it? Okay, suppose look at this. This portion, I need to allow the cache. Only this portion. This for this portion. This is template. mycache2.html. Fragment means this is division. One fragment, second fragment. Two divisions are there. This portion I need to maintain the cache means here we have to use in Django template language. What we are maintaining? Cache. How much time you want to maintain? 30 seconds. Cache name you can maintain just my cache. Any name you can do. This name is required, but any name you can do. Cache, timeout, 30 seconds, your cache name. After that, according to Django template language rule, end cache. That's it. Look at this. End cache. Below, this content is there. This portion only will maintain the cache memory for 30 seconds, not this portion. Okay, that's what I clearly mentioned. Cache, 30 seconds time, cache name, and cache. Okay, next, these two H1s only will maintain. Line number 15 and 16 only will maintain the cache. How long time? 30 seconds. But what about line number 9, 10, 11? No, it's not having cache. But look at this, and after setting this template fragment cache also, on the top of the web page, you must and should use this one, sir. What is that? Percentage load cache. It's very important. Maintain more than 30 seconds. See, I'm not giving, see, default is what actually, if we don't mention time period here, the default is what? 5 minutes. As I said that in the last session, default time period of cache is 5 minutes, 300 seconds. But I can't wait for 5 minutes no to show the example to you. That's what I'm just giving 30 seconds or 40 seconds or 50 seconds or 120 seconds, like that you can. By default is 5 minutes will wait for your cache memory. So at the on the top of the HTML page, you must and should provide what? Load cache also required, sir. Here you can see load cache is there. Without this, we cannot work with template fragment cache. This is important, load cache. After that, you can divide which part of the template do you want to maintain the cache. That part you can assign cache, 30 seconds time period, cache name, and cache, like this. Now, once we start run the application with V3, by using V3, we are rendering what actually mycache2.html page. Okay, yes. Let's run this now. V3. Now you can see the moment when I execute this V3, we have two parts of the HTML template. First part this one, second part this one. But immediately go to here, and in this part, in this portion, I am trying to modify this, deleting. Will it affect? No, it will not affect. When it will affect? After 30 seconds only. But look at this portion immediately will affect or not. This portion I'm deleting, that portion immediately affecting now. You can see affecting. But still this welcome to Hyderabad is there because 30 seconds after only this will be affect only cache memory. Okay, look at this. It is affecting now. But again, you can go to template here. Just again, you could go to template. Control Z. This is I'm adding. Immediately it will affect. But here also I'm adding. Immediately it will not affect this one. This will immediately affect. This will not immediately affect. Look at this. Hi, welcome is immediately affected. But welcome to Hyderabad is not immediately affected. After 30 seconds only, it will affect here. So this is what template fragment cache. Template means HTML page. Fragment means division. And cache means how much memory, how much time you want to maintain cache mechanism. We can do this. This concept is called template fragment cache mechanism. So all the way cache is the temporary memory for the client at server side, and cache is the server side state management technique, and it is used to maintain the memory temporarily for the client request at server side. This is about cache mechanism, session, and cookies, all these things. Our next topic is now in Django, which is very important in the project development also. That is called authentication system in Django. Or else we can say this topic is Django security. Django security. What is Django security? So the moment when we start discussion about security, we need to discuss obviously two things, important things like authentication and authorization. Authentication is one thing and authorization one thing. Authentication and authorization. That is authentication here and authorization here. Authentication is the process of checking whether user credentials are correct or not. User credential means generally what? Username and password. So normally when we open any website, some website will not allow you to access directly. So you should have already the registration or account. At the time of registration, what username and password you provided, same username and password you have to provide for entering into that website. So the moment when we enter username and password, that will cross verified into their database list that username and password is there or not. If it is matching, then you will have the authentication, means you will get authentication ticket. By using that ticket, you are the authenticated user. Authenticated users can able to join. So this is authentication process. Authentication is the process of checking whether user credentials like username and passwords are correct or not. If it is correct, you are the authenticated person, otherwise no. Unauthenticated persons cannot join. Now authorization means what? So one thing is for sure, all authentication persons cannot become authorized. So authorization is the process of checking whether authenticated users are having permission to access complete content of the website or not. So even though you are an authenticated person, with your authentication details like username and password, once you join into web page, so still you need some permissions to access total content of the web page, no? So those who are having that permissions, okay, then that persons we can say authorization. But even some authenticated users don't have enough permission to access content, no? That persons are not authorized persons. So authorization means user has to uh, get complete content from the website. Means he should have the enough permission to access content. That is authorization. But I am saying all authenticated persons cannot become authorized. That is also important. Okay. Yes. So these two under comes into Django security. So already we discussed this authentication system in Django admin panel by creating super user. I'll talk about that. Okay. But in Django authentication system, authentication and authorization under comes into completely Django authentication system only. Yes. So by default, in every Django project, there is a inbuilt authentication systems are there. Inbuilt authentication system. That inbuilt authentication system, where it is there, I will try to show you the physical location now. But before that, in Django, there are two important applications are there. One is Django dot untrip dot auth, AUTH. Next one is Django dot untrip dot content types. Yes, content types. Django.contrib.auth and Django.contrib.content types. These two applications are there. Django authentication system will have two applications, and this Django.contrib.auth application will use internally content types, keep tracking of models into database. These two applications built in available. Look at this where it is available. The moment when we create Django project, every Django project under the installed apps. Okay, usually when we create new application, we will come and under the installed app we can include no. So this is all our applications so far what we discuss, many applications. But look at this, what are the built-in applications? I said like django.contrib.auth, django.contrib.content types. These two applications, built-in applications. By using this built-in application only, we will work with Django authentication system like authentication and authorization. So even admin application also there. Already we joined admin panel. Today also I'll show you some important steps with admin panel and session management. Some built-in applications are there here. These applications through only our topic will work fine, like sessions, messages framework, static files like this one. Okay, these are all built-in applications. If you are using PyCharm editor, then django.contrib.auth, django.contrib.content types you need not to include. By default, it's available. In case if you're using other editor like any Visual Studio Code or any other editor, then this must be include manually. Otherwise, your Django authentication system will not work. But where is that physical location of Django authentication system? See, authentication means what I said. It's a process of checking whether user having username and password. How user will get username and password after registration? Means registration form is required or not? Yes. After registration form, what form is required? Authentication form is required for login form, like login only, username and password entering purpose. So these all forms present in where? By default in Django authentication system. But Django authentication system physical location is where? I'll show you now. What is the Django authentication system? Physical location, where it is, you can observe here. Step by step, I'm showing. First, let's go to my computer. Then after that, what? C drive. Double click on C drive. After that, users. So that my computer name is Mohan. And now you can see here, you need to find app data. But unfortunately, we don't find any app data here. Yes, obviously, that is common. Why? Because some in computers, some security reasons, some folders will be hidden format. Means it will be hide. So it's already hide mode actually. Sorry, and we have to make that available. How to make that available means just simple. Here after coming to this steps, okay, C drive, users, your computer name. So we don't find any app data. Do you want find app data means that is hidden folder. So immediately you can go to view menu. In this view menu, there is a option is there. Look at this view and show option is there and hidden items are there here, hidden items. Once I click on hidden items, we got this what? Simply app data is there. This is hidden folder. Double click on app data, double click on local, double click on just observe here. Double click on programs, double click on Python, double click on Python 311, lib is there. After that, site packages are there. After that, Django. After that, contrib. After that, auth. Look at this. This is completely physical location of Django authentication system. It's a built-in application. No? How we create our own application, same like Django is having built-in application. This application is having lot of forms. What is that path means? I'm copying this path and pasting into Notepad. This path, don't worry, in my document also I included. This is C drive, users, computer name, app data. App data will not be available. You have to get it by using view menu and hidden items activation. Local programs, Python, Python 3.11, lib means library, site packages, Django, contrib, auth. We are into here. Right now in this authentication application is having lot of forms. So built-in forms I'm using now. So next session, I'm going to use this all form classes. But again, you should not ask, sir, where is these forms are coming means I'm showing now this location. The forms will come from this location only, authentication location. So look at this authentication app is having forms.py. Right click on it and open with PyCharm Community Edition I'm using. Just I want to show you some built-in form classes with built-in code. What code is there? Closely observe here today. In the next session, you will find clearly these are all forms I'm going to use in my Django authentication system. Slowly come down. First, I'm showing what actually to register to the website. So what is required? User creation form is required. This is I'm going to use in upcoming session. So this user creation form class directly already built in class or not? Yes, it's coming from where? This location. So a form that creates a user with no privileges from the given username and password. Okay, all registration details we have to provide. User creation form. This one class you can remember. Form class it is. These are all built-in classes. Next form class I am going to use. User change form is there. Means if user wants to change his details, then we can use this form class. Next form you can observe authentication form is there. Authentication form in the sense already user has registered. Once he is having like username and password, by entering that username and password, he can go to authentication form class through login form prepare. After that, you can see this password reset form is there. Password reset form, changing password, and now you can see one more form is there that I'll show you. This is built-in class. Set password form is there. Set password form and password change form is there. Both forms are there. One form can be used to change the password without entering old password. One more form will be used to change password with entering old password. So set password form, a form that lets a user set their password without entering the old password. This form class we use. Next form class is there what actually? Password change form is there. A form that lets a user change their password by entering their old password. So these are all form classes. Password change form, okay, and set password form, set password form, authentication form, user change form, user creation form. These are all form classes I'm going to use in my coding. Okay, again, this form built-in classes from where it is coming in the sense this authentication system. This is the exactly physical location of Django authentication system. It's a built-in application, built-in form classes, everything is there. This I am going to use in my upcoming session. Next session, we have to go with step-by-step authentication system. How to do? We have to write the coding part also. Yes, we need to write code also because we are coming with our own forms. Our form is inherited from this forms only. Inheritance concept, Suppose you can create sign up form. My form is there like this, for example. Just observe here. I'm creating in the class, form class, sign up form. I'm creating sign up form. It's your own form. This form should inherited from where? User creation form. User creation form is coming from where? The Django authentication system. Got my point? So this is the case actually. This is our actual form, what we are trying to create. and this form is related from user creation form. User creation form is coming from where? Django authentication system. How to import this user creation form in the sense to your application from Django dot contrib dot auth, okay, import auth dot forms. Import what form? User creation form, like this. I am importing user creation form from where it is coming? Django.contrib.authentication application.forms. Just now what I shown this forms all, it's available in this forms only. From there, from where? From there it is coming here. So this is about Django authentication forms, which is I'm using from this location exactly here. Okay. So this authentication system through coding and through directly admin panel also we can do it. But admin panel, how to do it? Already you know that user super user created already. Okay, super user. So let me show you that going to terminal. I'm just running the server, and who is our super user? Okay, I'll try to do this. Authentication underscore user table is there, no? So we'll get our super user details here. Edit data. Now you can see this is authentication table. So we are having authentication table here. Already we created super user. Sherry is the name and password also Sherry. So let's try to join Python space manage.py run server. Click on this. Now if you want to go to admin panel, what we need to do, slash admin we have to use. Now you can see it is asking Django administrating account. So I have already registered. I just created a super user. So I'm just join with this super user name and password. Now you can see this Django administrative panel. Yes. Look at this here also authentication and authorizations are there or not? Yes. How many users are there? Only one user is there. This user also can create one more user. Yes. Super user can able to create other user. It's possible. So try to create super user. This super user can create the other user. Suppose Mohan is the user name. Password is Durga at the rate of 123. Password confirmation. Yes. Why? Because I'm not giving Mohan password also. Look at this. Mohan and Mohan, if I give, it will not accept because password cannot be same. And we try to save. Look at this. Change your password. It is saying the password just used was found in data breach. Google Password Manager recommends changing your password. Okay. Something is wrong. Give me 1 second. Admit. Now here you can see user. This user can able to add one more user also, like now save. So user is created successfully. This user is added by admin user Sherry. Now you can see this user table is having like this. But look at this. This user Mohan user added by Sherry, but Mohan user don't have staff status account. Even this details also will be there in our authentication user table. Look at this. Is super user? No, Mohan is not a super user. That is called zero status. Sherry is the super user. That is called one status. So next is staff status. Yes, zero. Sherry is having staff status 1. Okay, he is active 1. Date joined, first name, all these details are available. But look at this, the moment once Mohan is having username and password, because of he is not a staff status member, he cannot able to log in. Look at this, I'm just log out as Sherry, I'm log in as Mohan. Even I am entering correct username and password, but he cannot able to log in. Why? Because he don't have staff status account option. But who will give this permission to this Mohan user? Again, super user has to give. Now you can see super user is trying to give the access. Now you can see users. So I just joined as a super user, and she'll click on this Mohan link, and after that she'll give permission staff status account. Staff status only it's giving. After staff status, we have to save this. Now Mohan also became a staff status member. Now log out this, and again I'm just login as a Mohan with my password. And now you can see Mohan user is joined because of he's a staff member, staff status member. But he don't have enough permission to view or edit anything. So no permission this user. This user don't have any permission. But who should provide permissions means again super user only should provide permission to this Mohan. So log out this, again login, super user. Super user how you can give the permission means look at this. Super user is giving some permissions. To what user? Mohan user. So she's selecting Mohan user and scroll down. There is a permission option is there. Look at this permissions. What permission do you want? You can do it. So this is the permission. So just observe here. Can view user, I'm giving first permission. That means only user can view, cannot edit. But if you want to give all permission, you can give this. First, let me give can view user permission. Permission is transfer here. After permission transfer, save it now. After saving, now just I'm just going to this Mohan and Durga at the rate of 123. So there is a problem actually. Why is this? Okay, it's not allowing for security reasons. No problem, but password problem actually. Let's go for admin. Now you can see Mohan don't have any permissions or edit anything. Log out. Again log in. We don't have any permission because permission is not granted by Sherry. You can see Chrome periodically checks your password again. List that have been published online. We are doing this. Your password, username are encrypted, so they can't be read by anymore, including Google. Okay. So security alerts are coming here. Okay, no problem. So Sherry user. Okay. So again, whenever we click on administrative panel is opening now. We have to change password. It is saying. Okay, sir. No problem. This is just a small issue. We are noticing that password security purpose it is stopping us, but actually the user should give permission. Okay, which user? This user. But my Django authentication system it's saying like change password. It is saying alerts are coming, we have to change the password. So later I'll do it. Okay, so but actually we supposed to provide some permission to this user, Mohan user, but permission is not granting us. Just observe here. This permission I'm trying to give. Can view user, go and save the changes. The moment when I click on save, it is not asking, it is not going to be providing all permissions. Immediately it is going to be log out due to some security. I'll adjust this. It's not a matter. Okay. So Django authentication and authorization also we can manage with administrative panel, but we need to write our coding also. That coding is important, not in administrative panel. So administrative panel, how to get permission, how to access the content, I'm showing step by step. In the next session, this also I'll show. And through coding also I can show you. Through coding means we have already all forms are there, no? User creation form, user change form, authentication form, password reset form, password change form, like this. That form classes through by using coding, we have to use this. So this is about today, and next session will be on Monday. Monday we'll start with this coding part of Django authentication system completely.